Oh, baby. We are back for the 19th hole on In Between Media. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is the PGA Tour's homage to Northern California. Shout out NorCal. Pebble Beach Pro-Am coming at ya. Oh, baby, Connor. We have arrived. It's Pebble Beach week, golf mecca. We're talking about not just the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is the tournament that my dad brought me to when I was a kid. This isn't just that tournament. This is the better version of it. We're going to get into those details. Connor, good evening. Happy Tuesday to you. What's good, bro?
I unmuted. Look at that.
Hey, I gave you a little extra chance there to process that there.
No, everything's good, man. Yeah, this is I already started a little tally over here at how many times you say shout out NorCal. So we're at 1.
So yeah, Craig Reith tracks my tweets that mention NorCal, and I usually average around 400 a year. More than one per day.
I would have said over that number.
Well, this is our tournament. We have a few PGA Tour events in Northern California. We got the Fortinet, we got the Barracuda, but those are off schedule events. They're not signature PGA Tour events like the Pebble Beach Pro-Am this year. They've done a lot of for all the warts that the PGA Tour has been exposed to have the last couple of years. This is a move that they've done exactly right. This is all these changes they've made to the Pebble Beach Pro-Am are fantastic. Cannot get more excited. And guess what? We're going to have some carnage this week because the weather is going to be Scottish. It's going to be nasty. It's not going to be that nasty inland where I live, but just a 2-hour drive away in Monterey Peninsula, it's going to be like I said, coastal Scottish Highlands weather. It's going to be a nasty draw, wet, cold, windy, all the things you love to see, and all the best guys are going to be there to suffer.
Yeah, whittling this down to 80 and taking it down to a 2-course rotation the first 2 days.
And no cut,
elevated event. Like, guys are going to be out for blood, and I think we're going to have a show on Sunday. The weather on Sunday is supposed to be
nasty.
Cold. So, and I'm all for seeing more Pebble Beach. Like, unlike you, God. it's not a hop, skip, and a jump down the coastline for me. So I've been there once, and it was breathtaking for me. So hope to get back one day and play.
Yeah, it's going to run you $675 until the end of this year, and it's going up to a cool $1,000 starting in 2025. Which honestly, I don't think you put a price tag on Pebble Beach. You could basically say, "Hey, I'm saving up for this, regardless of the cost. This is bucket list type of golf course territory here." Yeah, if it's $675 or $1,000 plus caddy plus lodging plus everything in the south area of the bay is completely ridiculously priced. We're talking the most expensive real estate in the country. It's unfathomably expensive to go and live and play there. However, if you're just doing it one time, I don't care. Name your price. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to make sure it happens. I actually am excited for Spyglass to be the feature of one of the first 2 days.
Yeah, and I think actually the weather is setting up to actually have Spyglass play a little tougher. These 2 courses actually historically haven't played that much different. With the weather kind of being a little worse than it has been the last couple of years, like these are going to play strokes to par. They're going to play pretty close. So
yeah, and they've been. I mean, I think Spyglass is the tougher course overall. Like if you were to play 4 rounds of Spyglass, the scoring would be very low, very depressed, or high scoring, bad scoring. But with the Pro-Am, they don't make it tough. Like even with Monterey Peninsula, that's easy. Like that course is a joke for PGA Tour standards. It's a joke for like your Monday qualifying course. That course should never be anywhere near a PGA Tour event. Spyglass Hill, when I was a kid, we went to Poppy Hills and Spyglass and Pebble Beach. And Poppy Hills was 10 times the course that Monterey Peninsula was. So I'm super glad they got rid of that one.
Yeah,
the Spyglass is traditionally a harder course, but for the Pro-Am, they mow the rough nice and close. And then you see the US Open every 5 or 6 years at Pebble Beach just take their lunch money because all you do is grow the rough out to 4 inches, and these guys have none chance, especially if the wind picks up. Spyglass is tree lined for 2/3 of it. Nasty, nasty, nasty. You're going to see some big scores at Spyglass early in the week, and I can't wait. What are you drinking?
I'm recycling tonight because I had a very busy day, but so we're back to the Buffalo Trace. We're gonna. I'm guessing we finished this off tonight, so I'll have something fresh and exciting for next week.
Get the counter going because shout out NorCal. I'm cracking a bottle of Sonoma Rye. Obviously, Sonoma is north of the bay, and Monterey is south of the bay, but they're within a couple hours drive of each other. It's still NorCal, and Sonoma Rye is premium California whiskey distilling company. This is 93 proof rye, and it's made right there in Sonoma County, California. 80% rye, 20% malted rye. So it's very spicy. Yeah, I'm expecting this to be pretty spicy because of the mash bill.
Yeah, I would guess based on the mash bill, and I'm guessing that one's not a day over 6 years if it's that.
Oh no. Yeah, it doesn't say. So it's 2 or more. Yeah, this is. I don't know. It's gonna be pretty hot. It smells good.
Well, we're waiting. We're waiting.
Kind of like paint thinner.
Not gonna lie to you, that smells like straight gasoline.
Ooh, yeah. It's hot. It's almost got like a peach apricot. But yeah. Let's see. They have these notes on here. Look at that. Vanilla, allspice, white pepper, dried apricot, and walnut. Pick that right out of the thin air. Nice.
And I would never doubt your palate, and judging by some of the food you post,
yeah, that's my one thing that if I'm just desolate, I have no job, no prospects, I can fall back on my impeccable taste.
And your modesty, really.
I love me some me.
Come for your taste, stay for your modesty.
The white pepper's pretty faint, but yeah, the apricot stands out to me.
Well, I have no tasting notes to add to this Buffalo Trace other than it's a little spicier than I remembered it even from last time. So, but single barrel selection. So we'll get drunk on it.
Yeah. Caramel, vanilla, a little hint of leather. Great stuff.
Yeah. It's a Buffalo Trace.
Oh, it's so good. Daily drinker.
So I take it for granted. I shouldn't because I know people. There are people that cannot get this. It is hands down one of the best $25 bottles you can get. So
can't relate. I stocked up when it was $17 here.
That's a win.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. When I cleared the whole shelf.
You're like, you idiots put it out. It's going in my cart.
Hey, they didn't put a limit on the price either. I was just like, okay, and then it's obviously a mistake, but I'm not going to mention it.
No, their loss, your win.
So what do you think about this course? I mean, I want to hit the drop for Caddy Notes in a minute, but Pebble Beach is Pebble Beach. The folklore is, epic. Some of the best course history known to man in golf. Like this is what St. Andrews is in Scotland. This is what we have in the United States. There's a lot of good courses like Torrey Pines is up there. You got Pinehurst. You got all these great courses, Augusta National. But Pebble Beach is just, it's so unique, Uh-oh. You've been found.
Well, you didn't have to stop. It was just a comment.
Any relation? Yeah. I just want to ask you about Pebble Beach. What does Pebble Beach bring emotionally to you?
I think for me, I don't know what it is about it, but it's always been kind of my holy grail. Like I've always wanted to play there. I've always felt like it was one of the most iconic American golf courses, and so I get a little like, I don't know, misty eyed when I get to watch tournaments on it. Like I think it's beautiful. I think it's a challenging course. I think what's great about this week is we're going to get to see it with some teeth out, which we don't always get to see.
And with some great golfers. That's the best part, is the signature event draws all the top golfers in the world to, I mean, in Rory McIlroy's case, to start their season here. Like that, start their PGA Tour season here. Scotty Scheffler played one tournament before this, but they can only skip one signature event the whole season. They're not going to skip Pebble Beach. And I love that.
No, and this is such a talented field, and not only with the big name guys, but even getting down the board quite a bit. Like some of these guys that a lot of people haven't even heard of. I mean, there is really going to be a high level of play here this week, and so yeah, and we have no football. Like this just sets up so perfect for us to just sit around and geek out on golf for 4 days.
Pebble Beach or the Pro Bowl games. Gee, I wonder what I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah, they still doing that best catch and the flag football in the parking lot or whatever the hell they do now.
I don't know. Who knows? Look, Connor, I'm going to draw upon your expertise about the layout and the tournament structure right after this drop. We call this segment Caddy Notes.
I wish you would have come in with that Jersey Shore fist bumping you were doing. Oh.
It's just a catchy tune. I love it.
Yeah, the new drops are really, really nice. They keep you in the mood. Let's see. So AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, although it's not much of a am anymore, they've made some adjustments. So
Good.
we've got.
I want to see the CEO of Oracle playing on a Sunday with whoever's going to win the tournament.
I think I was reading Pat Mayo over lunch, and he was talking about how he's not going to miss the commentators breaking down Larry the Cable Guy's golf swing for 15 minutes. So I think we've made some good improvements here.
On my Betting Pro show last night, Fitz mentioned Larry the Cable Guy too. I don't mind Larry Cable Guy. He's a lefty like me, and he's the pinnacle of fashion out there with the sleeveless camouflage button down.
Speaking of lefties, you want to hear something that'll make you sick? My dad's played here like 9 times, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mr. Coughlin, my God.
And he likes to remind me of it.
That is excessive, Mr. Coughlin.
Never took me once.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's what's the word? Estrangement behavior. Like he's just asking for you to emancipate yourself from that family. Oh, you went to Pebble Beach. Oh yeah, 9 times. And where was I? Where was I?
There's some love in there. It's just doesn't pertain to Pebble Beach, I guess. But no, I love my dad, but he has some of the best golf stories ever. He's played a lot of the courses we talk about, so I get to relive them every week. But so anyways, we're in Pebble Beach, California. As Bo talked about earlier, this used to be a 3-course rotation. We're now down to 2. We'll be at Spyglass in Pebble Beach Thursday, Friday. And then we'll be Pebble Beach over the weekend. You've got 80 pros here, no cut, elevated event. So like we already kind of mentioned already, you're going to see 4 days of some of the world's best golfers on some very challenging conditions. The par is 72 on both courses. Spyglass is going to play at about 70-41. Pebble's going to play at about 69-72. Condition and composition, all things being equal, are not incredibly different from what we saw last week. You've got your Poana, you've got your overseeded fairways, a little bit wider here than we had at Torrey in terms of the fairway layouts, but you have more forced layups here. There's really not going to be much of an opportunity to bomb and gouge. Not that there was a ton last week, but there was still more than there is here. Spyglass, you are going to see a little more tree line fairways, which if the wind kicks up, does allot it a little bit of shelter from the coast. But those coastal winds are going to be gnarly, especially getting into Sunday. Sunday, we could see gusts of upwards of 45 miles an hour, and it's pretty well sustained all day. So Sunday is going to be pure carnage.
Especially with how tiny these greens are, the smallest greens on the PGA Tour.
That's exactly where I was going next. So we got Poana again this week on both courses, which will be something that we do definitely dive into a little bit, because this is the second and third of 4 courses that we're going to see that on, I believe. Pebble has some of the smallest greens on tour. Super accurate players is what we're looking at here. We also are going to want guys that can stay accurate and scramble and get up and down in wind and shitty conditions, because we're definitely going to have that all the way around. Spyglass, like Bo and I were kind of getting into, Spyglass actually, believe it or not, depending on how it's set up and depending on the weather, can play tougher than Pebble. This particular event, though, Pebble has historically played almost a half a stroke harder than Spyglass has. We'll see how that goes this year, but that has been the trend. And again, the weather is going to become an issue. It's going to rain pretty much every single day. It's going to be relatively cool, mid 50s, low 60s most days. And then those
mid 50s with that moisture up coming up the coast is bone chilling. Like, we're talking, like, you guys get that cold up there in the northern plains. I've been in those conditions for a Giants game. Ironically, in July, it wasn't even raining, but it was just windy and nighttime. Yeah, and it's insane. You could wear 3 layers and have a fleece blanket over the top of you, and your teeth are chattering because it cuts right to the bone. You're just like, it's freezing. I don't understand how it's possible that 55 can feel colder than 0. I've experienced both. And it's unbelievable how it works, because these guys are going to be miserable out there walking around, especially on Thursday when it's going to be windy and cold, or not as windy, but rainy and cold, with the amateurs playing 6-hour rounds. They're going to be miserable. They're going to be looking for a fireplace and a change of clothes. I can't imagine they're going to have a whole lot of fun out there. It's going to be a grind. That's what I'm looking for, is these guys that stay mentally tough are going to do well.
I don't know that I wholeheartedly agree with you that it's going to be a complete grind. I don't think it's going to be super pleasant, but I think the scoring conditions Thursday, Friday, Saturday are not terrible.
No, it's not as bad as Sunday. Sunday looks like it's like you just bring your galoshes and your windbreaker. You might as well just dress like you're in the deadliest catch, like you're on a crab boat. That's how the weather's going to be on Sunday.
I'll just post a picture of whatever I'm wearing on Sunday, and that's probably the same attire that should be worn at Pebble Beach, which is a wild thing to think about from the frozen north here.
Yeah.
So to round this out, so we can get into some betting stuff, I would say that the historic score here is usually about 18-19. That's been pretty well established almost year on year. Probably slightly lower given the weather that we're going to get on Sunday. I would say that we're probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 18 still, but I would err on the side of the 15. I think we're going to have plenty of scoring opportunities the first 3 days, just with as wet as it's going to be.
I say it's going to be even worse because of Monterey Peninsula not being in the rotation. Like, having 18 holes at Monterey was a cakewalk for these guys. And we're talking about, that might be neutralized by the stronger field, but at the same time, these conditions are going to be brutal, especially on Sunday. We're going to see an over par final round still win this thing. But the Spyglass round and another Pebble Beach round instead of a Monterey Peninsula round, I think we're looking at 12 at the best. I think 10 to 12 is going to be winning here.
I mean, probably not where you and I should spend our time arguing, because there's going to be plenty of it. But I will just say that this is not even debatable. This is the strongest field that's been here probably the last God knows how long.
Since I was there. When Tiger and Phil and VJ were there for the late 90s, that was in early 2000s. That was when I was going with my dad as a teenager, and that was when the field was like second to none. Nobody was taking weeks off like Tiger did, but he always played Pebble Beach. And
I do think that bears like repeating though, because if it were just an average non-elevated event, I'm probably erring on the side that you are. It's probably getting more into the low teens in terms of scoring, but there's some guys in this field that I don't think it matters. I think they're going to fire. But anyways, all of that being
I'm
said,
pretty hot with these score predictions this season,
you
even though
have
I haven't predicted anything else right, other than a couple top fives and top tens. Like none of us have picked outright winners this year because it's been a long shot every week. So let's say we hit the drop for Club Twirls and we say a prayer while that recording is going because we need to end this losing streak of the casinos taking our money with these shots that nobody saw coming.
bro, I think we got it this week. I think we got the winner.
All right, let's hit the drop. All right, Club Twirls is where we get a little degenerate on y'all. We pull the odds from DraftKings Sportsbook. You can also find odds at any sportsbook. They're pretty similar. I think this week it's pretty similar across the board. We're not going to be the 80-man field. You're not going to see a lot of disparity in the lines. But I really do like the DraftKings Sportsbook layout this week because they're kind of giving it an easy way out for us, especially on some of these guys with short odds that we've seen struggle mightily at Pebble Beach. One being Scotty Scheffler, who theoretically should do amazing here. Theoretically, you're looking at, we need good off the tee. We need amazing approach. He's the best approach player in the world, and he's great around the greens. And with how small these greens are, their longest putt's going to be 40 feet tops. So why is Scotty Scheffler so bad at Pebble Beach? The last time we saw him here, he missed the cut. Like we can't. There's no cut here, but what is wrong with Scotty Scheffler at Pebble Beach, and why can we not bet him confidently at 7-1?
I think you had 3 too many words there in the lead-in. At Pebble Beach didn't need to be there. Why is Scotty Scheffler so bad? Like his performances are getting worse and worse. Like I understand that he's still in the top 20 every week when he tees it up, but this is a guy that was on a tear.
Because he's number one in the world.
Yeah, fine. He still needs to play like it. His putting is abysmal. His around the green game has been not great. His approach stats, as you look at it, especially depending on what bucket you're looking at, have started tapering off dramatically. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a Scotty Scheffler believer. I like him as a human being. I hope he goes out and proves me wrong. But dude, this is so short for what Scotty's doing.
He's right now, as I just loaded the app, he's the same odds as Rory McIlroy, 8-1. And I don't love Rory here, but I like him a heck of a lot more than I like Scheffler. They both came in outside the top 10 in my modeling, which is flabbergasting with how good they are on most courses. But when you filter for shorter courses, moist conditions, Poana greens, like these guys take a big tumble down. And the guy that I'm looking at, Xander Schauffele, is slipping. He went from 12-1 to 14-1. And this guy is like, he's no matter what I did to the filtering and the weighting in my model, he stayed in the top 5, no matter what I did. So Xander Schauffele is my guy where I'm starting at 14-1. I was going to bet him at 12, but watching him slip to 14 is fantastic because I don't those short approach buckets that we're going to be talking about, I don't trust anybody in the world more than I trust Xander Schauffele.
I will let you talk about Xander because my card starts at Homa.
Max Homa. See, I just don't know. I mean, yes, this guy is a Poana master and a great on short approach. I see it. I see it. Max 16-1. I don't know that Max Homa is a 16-1 golfer anywhere, especially not in a signature event. He's a good golfer, but I don't think he wins a tournament of this caliber, honestly.
So the things that I like about him, good course history here. So he's got a 7th, a 14th, and a 17th, I believe, over his last 3 starts. He has actually gained the second most strokes total to anyone in this field, only behind Jordan Spieth. And the only reason behind Jordan Spieth having more strokes gained here is that he's played at about 30 different tournaments.
Yeah.
Um, so the deal with Max Homa too is not only is he in great form right now, but his best putting surface, like you just alluded to, Bo, is Poana. His best conditions to play on are windier
Nasty.
than windy, and he
Hey, man.
typically plays much better golf on much tougher courses with much tougher fields. Like now, that's a strokes gained emotion, but it's still
Yeah.
important. I mean, he does rise to the occasion. He does compete in these bigger events. So all of those things marry up to say, like, this is a really good spot for Max Homa.
I like Max Homa. I'm not disagreeing with you here, but I'm looking at guys like Patrick Cantlay, who also masters Poana, masters the short game, masters short approach. I'm looking at the guy who practically owns Pebble Beach, Jordan Spieth. I don't trust Jordan Spieth anywhere but Pebble Beach. And then you got guys like Colin Morikawa. Those 3 guys all have better odds paying out to win this tournament than Max Homa. That's all I'm saying, is that I have 3 guys that I like better that are going to pay me more when they win over Max Homa.
And I don't fault you on liking those guys more. I
like Justin Thomas more here.
Justin Thomas is my favorite play this week.
Yeah,
let's absolutely.
He's back.
He is back, baby. 2024 is Justin Thomas season, baby. Like here, we are ready for it.
Oh, and it starts this week. It starts this week.
Yeah, we could skip the rest of what we were just about to bullshit about because Justin Thomas is back.
JT 22-1.
Love
Give
it.
me a top 5 lock. I'm plus 500 top 5. Give me 5-1 just to see JT get another top 5 on the PGA Tour. Lock it in right now.
I don't think I've been this excited to play somebody since you and I hit Morikawa.
At the end of last year, yeah. I mean, it's truthfully like we were locked in on that pick, and I mean, you look around, all these guys are good, they're great in certain places, but Justin Thomas, man, we just want to see that comeback. Ludwig Gobert on approach scares the daylights out of me. Tony Finau short game scares the daylights out of me. No, thank you. I already don't have to sell you on selling Tony Finau shares. Tommy Fleetwood never wins anything, even though he should do well in this exact situation. I mean, are you going to do a Tommy Fleetwood top 10 bet? Because I'm okay with that.
That's exactly where I was going. I'm definitely leaning that way. If he doesn't win here, I can't think of a better setup for him. I mean, really,
especially with the weather.
And so I can't fault somebody for wanting to bet him outright. But to your point, like I just don't know what it is about Fleetwood. He just can't win in the United States, and that's not even like a stigmatic sort of statement. Like he just like legitimately can't do it.
It's real. So like he locks up on Sundays.
Yeah, and so I would be more on the top 10 bet like you are, and especially like as we talk about often, neither of us is independently wealthy. So JT
plus 280 for a top 10 Tommy Fleetwood.
I could get there, but the outright, my money's going on JT.
And especially Tommy's 35-1. I like Sung J M better at 35-1. I like Matt Fitzpatrick better at 35-1, even though Fitz, Sam Burns at 40-1. My top guy in the model, JT Poston at 40-1. JT, Justin Thomas, JT, the postman, lines up statistically as well as you could possibly get here. This is the type of course where the postman approach game, short game, putting. This is where we can see some noise, even though I think it's a little short for his historic performance. I'm gonna say that I like JT Poston this week.
Yeah, and so recent form, I don't hate it, but I will say this about him: Poa is bordering on his worst surface. He plays substantially worse in tough fields, like substantially. Oh, yeah. I'm talking like almost an entire stroke lost. And then windy conditions are not his bag either. So my only thought with Poston is I think given the form, if he's able to come out Thursday and Friday and hopefully get a good setup for Saturday. I think he can get a good enough lead where he just has to like weather the storm on Sunday.
Yeah.
But if he's got to make up strokes on Sunday, there's absolutely no way he's doing it.
All right, I'm going to give you a multiple choice here. This next group is loaded, by the way, and I know you don't disagree with this next group being absolutely loaded with guys who pop at the top of both of our models. Do you want Russell Henley, Ben On, Tom Kim, or Bo Hostler?
Oh, can I have two of them?
Yeah, let's mention all four kind of briefly just to get through, because all four of them have merit here. I just want to know who you're like. Rank them for me.
Rank them for you. Russell Henley, Bo Hostler, Tom Kim.
Ben On.
Who was the last one?
Ben On.
Oh yeah, I got zero interest in Ben On. So yeah, he's my fourth.
Yeah, short game. Toss him out this week because chipping and putting at Pebble Beach, you might have heard, is extremely difficult.
I think
Pat Fitzmaurice. Yeah, Pat Fitzmaurice last night gave me a stat of all stats. Apparently, 15-foot putts at Pebble Beach are only made 25% of the time.
You know why that is?
Because it's Poana and it's really nasty.
Because guys are inside of 15 feet more than that percentage of time.
But still, like the make percentage on a 15-foot putt wide is a third to half, depending on the surface.
I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah, but substantially more difficult to putt here, especially when the wind picks up. This course, like, even when it's soft, is not gettable because you have to be pinpoint accurate to be anywhere near these holes.
Yeah, I think Ben On you can rule out right away if we're talking about this range briefly, and we can go through them real quick because I think these are the players that are coming up across the internet pretty frequently, and Ben On is getting a ton of love for whatever reason.
He's hot. He's hot right now.
So hot right now.
Hansel.
That Hansel. No, so Ben On. Typically, I would like Ben On somewhere that distance is somewhat important. Ben On can actually hit the ball pretty good off the tee. His approach game is really stout, not so great in bad conditions. His short game ends up being pretty suspect. It's just there's too many holes in his game to bet an outright. If you wanted to bet something like a make the cutter, a top 20, and hope a similar situation to what I said with Poston, where he plays good Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you could probably get some money back on Ben On.
So, you know why I don't like Ben On? It's like throw the short game thing out. Let's say short game doesn't matter here, even though it obviously does. Team high ball flight. Scotty, Rory, Ben On, some of the highest trajectories on approach and off the tee that you're going to find. Forcing him to flight the ball down, which he's going to have to do all 4 days here. Finding forced layups to find that next shot and set it up for yourself. We haven't seen Ben On do that very well. And
it's a good call.
Then you add in his suspect chipping and putting. His putting's been hot lately, which is why he's in contention the last few weeks. But overall, these two courses are going to challenge him more than he's been challenged in years. And I don't expect him to answer that call because, I mean, honestly, he shouldn't be anywhere near this number. He should be in that triple-digit range with the way it lines up for me is I had him pegged as 80 to 100 to 1, and he's way shorter than that.
I can't figure out where he's picking up so much steam this week.
45 to 1 is ridiculous.
And a lot of people are talking about him too. Like
give me Eric Cole 100 times more.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Eric Cole though, and well, we should really talk about Russell Henley because I think Russell Henley is like a legitimately really good bet.
Well, and he plays this place so well. You know why? Because you put that guy in the Scottish Highlands and you would never be able to tell that he was an American golfer with a Swedish background. This guy is made for this exact type of tournament. Short course, pinpoint accuracy required, low ball flight. Check all the boxes for Russell Henley.
Definitely. And you really can't poke a hole in his game either, like the last 8 months. I mean, it's just everything sets up so well for him. And if it does get shitty, he's good in wind. He's good on difficult conditions. He's decent on POA. It's not his best surface, but he's a good enough putter that, like, I think he'll be fine. So Yeah, Russell Henley, I really, really like how he sets up. And the other thing about him that's kind of a complementary stat to what we're looking at this week is he is more of a positional player. I don't know. I don't know if you said that specifically or not, but he is more of a positional player. And with the forced layups and the shorter driving distance off the tee like he has,
he's smart.
I think he's a smart player.
He thinks his way around the course, which that's why he pops up at TPC Sawgrass, places like that, where you have to plan your whole one shot at a time, but you're also like a chessboard. You're 2-3 moves ahead of yourself, trying to set yourself up for more easy approach shots, straighter putts. That's the mental game that I think Ben On still hasn't found yet, at least to that level. Like we love Ben on courses where you bomb and gouge and the short game doesn't matter. This is the opposite of that. So yeah, we agree that there's no reason for Ben on to be getting shorter odds than Russell Henley at any stretch, or even close to that, the same odds. This drops off pretty far for me. I like Hideki Matsuyama at 80-1. Justin Rose is there too as the defending champion, but he beat a bunch of tomato cans last year in perfect conditions. And his form hasn't been good since. Honestly, Justin Rose hasn't been playing all that well since he won at Pebble Beach last year. I don't think he has a repeat performance in him, and neither do the books. The books have him 80-1 as the defending champion. That's a thumbs down from Vegas. So give me Hideki. Give me Hideki here at 80-1, and then it drops way off the map for me into my long shots. So I'll let you have the floor for a bit.
I actually am keeping the card pretty short this week. I think I'm putting more money on the guys I really believe in. Justin Rose is not a guy that I bet. Justin Rose is not a guy I believe in. So you don't have to.
I believe.
I recognize that Justin Rose used to be a big deal. I think those days are sadly behind us. So I will let other people take their shots at Justin Rose. As far as Hideki goes, I think I would like Hideki in better conditions. Hideki's game needs pretty controlled conditions. It's not to say that he can't play in elevated fields in tough conditions, but in the variable nature of the weather, this is probably not the spot that I'm going to go after Hideki in.
All right. I got another multiple choice, but only two options this time.
Whew.
Do you want... Oh, that's just updated. Chris Kirk or Brian Harman. Very similar players. One righty, one lefty. They both model well here. I want to hear it. Are you doing the Harman thing this week, or are you going to go with the stat darling Chris Kirk?
So Brian Harman, despite setting up for both these courses incredibly well, typically does not play well here. The only thing that is kind of guiding me back to Brian Harman is he does typically play better in worse conditions. So if it were between Kirk and Harman, I probably would, I don't know. I'd probably go Harman. I'd probably give the edge to the worse weather player. Chris Kirk outright stat wise, like I think definitely you got to give the nod to him over especially like the last probably 6 tournaments.
There he is, number 12 in my model.
But I think once you start getting the wind and the rain and all that stuff, I think that equalizes it a bit. I think that does make Brian Harman a slightly better play than Chris Kirk.
Okay, that's fair. Red Hot Kevin Yu.
Pass.
Does his short game doesn't hold up here at all. Shout out NorCal. I mean, Kurt Kitayama's in town. I gave him the link to the show, and he's busy.
I'm in.
Yeah, right.
I am in on Kitayama this week.
Let's do it.
Kurt
Kitayama 110 to 1.
Why we like Kitayama?
I'm gonna guess it's because it's gonna be a grind, bad weather, tough conditions, and this guy grinds like nobody else. And
I heard he's from here. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean Chico and Monterey are like 3.5 hours apart.
I just meant NorCal.
It's a very big region, but yes. Having the familiarity with the conditions, the Poa annua greens, even though we're from inland, which is Bermuda usually, the coastal Poa annua is still something we played quite a bit of in various tournaments that we travel to. It's a lot better to play Kitayama at 110 Then, let's see who else is here. Tom Hoagie is a sucker bet at 130. Ricky Fowler started the week at 170. He's getting a little bit of steam to 130. I just don't see any of those guys doing anything. Mav McNeely is another NorCal guy at 150 to 1 that puts his. I know. And I don't understand why people are going to go back to the well to Mav McNeely when his recent form the last year and a half has been terrible. Like, he shows up for Pebble Beach, but it's still just a top 20. So don't get over your skis on a guy from Pebble Beach, California, just because he's from Pebble Beach, California.
Yeah, Mav McNeely, friend of the show. We love the guy, but
he's the only guy that's played Pebble Beach more than your dad.
That's probably true. Him and Jordan Spieth and my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's painful because this is the one tournament a year that you should line up to play Mav, but I'm going to pass. You hit on somebody inadvertently with Ricky Fowler, who I think the worse the forecast gets, the more viable that Fowler bet is.
Right.
So
because it's team low ball flight. Yeah, it's a real thing, guys. When the weather is neutral, we don't talk about ball flight unless the course is set up to favor a draw like Augusta National, or it's set up to favor a fade like some other courses, like Kiowa Island, for example. Like if a course is laid out a certain way, we'll talk about whether a guy like prefers to work it left to right or right to left. If it's windy, we like to talk about ball flights because guys with naturally high ball flights like Rory McIlroy do not play as well when it's windy. It's just a simple fact of science is if you hit the ball higher, the wind affects the shots more. And it's a real thing we have to consider when we're placing our bets. So team low ball flight, yes. If Ricky's going to be dealing with blustery conditions, I like him a little bit more. Although the rest of the setup seems pretty bad for him, especially with the way he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been known to show some flourishes around the green too, even in his current form. So I think I got more interest if I'm dumpster diving or gambling in DFS, but it's a pretty enticing number for a guy that has the skills to play in bad conditions. So
I was gonna write about Lucas Glover until I filtered by Poana. He was number 2 in my model until I filtered for Poana, and he dropped completely off the board here. You can't see him at all. Like Nick Taylor's above him. Yeah, Adam Hadwin's above him. Kuchar's Kuchar's 8th and 6th in my model. That's got to change.
No cut though. Like
yeah.
I don't know what's Glover at right this second.
150.
That could be I have done dumber shit with $5 bet for the week.
If you get the guy close to the hole, his putting's not that bad. If you're close to the hole, his accuracy is amazing. Ooh, I think he's priced appropriately. The one guy that's a long shot that I think is completely mispriced is Sam Ryder. I love Sam Ryder this week. For some reason, he's getting no respect. This dude is on freaking fire right now, and he's getting no love from the books. 300 to 1. Throw $5 on Sam Ryder and say a prayer to the Pebble Beach golf gods because they're a different set of golf gods.
Yeah, I had him sorted wrong. I didn't see him at the 300. Yeah, 100%. He's been in my pool the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm all in. He's 300 right now.
Yeah, you believe that shit?
I think I hit the wrong sort on Fantasy National. Yeah, 300. Yeah, I'm fully in.
There's only 4 guys. There's only 4 guys with worst odds, and one of them's on this board here. Webb Simpson is at 350. Hayden Buckley 400. Davis Riley 400, and Peter Malnati, Mr. Bucket, had 800 to 1. I think there's 80 guys that could theoretically win this damn tournament, and we'd have our 5th straight long shot winner. Hey, this is setting up to be another long shot winner. So let's throw out our net as wide as we can here with some smaller bets. I think I'm doing the opposite of you. I think you're going to keep it condensed, right? And you're going to bet confidently. I'm gonna do buckshot here. I'm gonna do smaller bets on a wider array of 80 of these 80 guys. I think I'll throw bets on 6 or 7 guys total. But I'm gonna put some extra emphasis on some of these guys that are worse than 101 because I just had that feeling that this setup is going to bring another long shot winner, and it's not going to be fun for us if we don't hit one this time.
I'm with you. I'm looking as you're talking on these long shots because that's been what it's been. Seamus Power might actually be somebody to look at this week.
Yeah, it's Irish weather out there.
Well, I'm just looking at his stat profile and best surface POA. Best strokes gained by course difficulty. Most difficult conditions.
Yep.
Windier, better up the chain. Irish.
Shoot, even SH Kim models out here. Alex Smalley models out here. This is a long shot waiting to happen.
But Seamus Power is different than those guys because Seamus Power, when he's firing on all cylinders, can keep up with these big boys. Yeah. So I don't know.
Whether or not we get that Seamus Power is the other thing, though.
It is, and he's trending down, but at 300 to 1 in that range, him and Sam Ryder are probably the two I would look at. I can't believe we're talking 300 to 1s, but I guess that's what betting on golf is nowadays.
Well, the most favorited winner this season was Mathieu Pavon from France at 120 to 1. He was the least long shot of all 4 long shot winners this season.
You keep saying that. I don't think Chris Kirk was as long a shot.
Chris Kirk was 200.
Yeah, maybe by odds. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So Mathieu Pavon was the shortest odds to win this year at 120 to 1. So what do we get here? Do we get a 5th straight 100 to 1 long shot, or do we get finally a good golfer win a damn tournament this year and pay somebody? What do you think?
What are you asking?
Whether or not we're going to get another long shot winner.
Oh, I was responding to the chat. I think we have an opportunity to. That's what I just said. I would say throw $5 on each of those guys down there and let her fly. I mean, when the weather turns up, I think it's anybody's game. So I think a lot.
And that's all I'm saying. I think that's all I'm saying is these favorites everything gets neutralized. Like everything is leveled when the wind picks up.
And I mean, right now that's going to be Sunday. I mean, so whoever we've got in that top 10 going into Sunday, I mean, that's who's going to end up on top. I mean, it's not going to change much to your point. I don't think. I think it's going to be who can weather the storm. So,
literally,
I'm not multitasking. I'm not multitasking anymore. I'm going to focus.
All right, so let's not slam any trunks like I did again last week in our contest, the IBT contest. I am officially 4 for 4 at putting my worst lineup out of 50 lineups in our IBT contest. I don't know if I got dead last, but I was probably deserving of dead last, even if I finished 3rd. No, I did get 2nd, but a distant 2nd to Seth. Did I not?
I don't think so. I think I beat you.
Well, yeah, I did. I had such a bad lineup that I don't deserve 2nd place. So I don't doubt you at all. Let's go here. Nope, I got 3rd. And distant 3rd.
I was gonna say I think I messed you up. Seth had a
Seth got really hot weekend.
It was carnage though, so we're gonna try and do better on DFS this week.
I did fine. I just not in that contest. I had some really good lineups. That was not one of them. I only scored 302 in that.
Cool, bad lineups.
Yeah, I had a 3 out of 6 in that contest. Pathetic. Doesn't help when your top pick, Colin Morikawa, misses a cut. That killed both of us equally. Hamburger, yeah. All right, your hat is from Unreal Golf. Unreal. And of course, this is In Between Media. See that logo right there. Like and subscribe, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe. This is worth it. We're winning people money. Even if it's not outright money, we're winning top 5 and top 10 money this year. That's a fact. So, no trunk slams.
Get some people paid.
DFS. Let's do it.
The club as well. This would be a wrestling slam.
So DFS wise, I was making a lineup earlier, and I started the lineup. I was just building, like building to build, right? And I scrolled down to the first guy I loved, like loved in DFS, and he was 7,800. Like leverage wise, upside wise, I got down to 7,800 and started there. I had 4 guys under 8K in my lineup, and then I had 10-1 per player for the last 2. And I left some money on the table because I'm not in love with the top of the sport. Even Xander, my guy, is a little too pricey for what I think his upside is here.
Who's your first guy? Who is your first guy? Russell Henley?
Let me pull it up here. I totally forgot. I was building like crazy. And let's see. Edit entry. It was 7,900 JT Poston.
Okay. Well, we'll give the top part at the time it deserves, I suppose. We already talked about Rory and Scotty. I think the guy up here that we haven't really hit on yet is Viktor Hovland. I would probably be out on Viktor Hovland here just from the emphasis on the around the green side of things.
Yeah, he's not bad as he was. Like he used to be awful around the greens. He's average now, which is great for him. But this place is going to demand perfection around the greens, and that's why I start with Xander Schauffele at 10.
Yeah, and I like that. The other thing I would add about Victor, because I think he's going to be a popular play with people that don't like really look at the stats or run models. Hovland is also really not very good from 75 to 100. So like he's not as solid a wedge player as you need here.
Yeah.
So
you need great wedge game here.
And so I would, to be honest, I'm going to avoid the top altogether. Like if I were going to play somebody, it would probably be Xander. But I am going to start a lot of my lineups with Justin Thomas at 9,600. I saw enough last week. I saw enough at the tail end of last season. I believe in Justin Thomas here. So that's the hill I'm dying on, 9,600.
Yep. So that's what I did. I started with Xander and JT, and then I went cheap. I think I threw Sungjae in there in one lineup. But that's because I put Lucas Glover at 6,500. Oh my God, this lineup is a train wreck. It was pre Poana filter. Let's just say that.
I think there is opportunity to build in the 9s though. And it sounds like that's what you did.
Sure.
You just may have to make some tough calls in the 8s. So I think we're both pretty much in agreement that you can almost fade the 10s. I think the win equity from 9,700 down to 9,100 is probably better.
Yeah, you got Cantlay here, you got Spieth here, you got Homa here, you got all Morikawa models well here. You can skip Obear this week, but like all of these guys in the 9s are fantastic plays for DFS.
Yeah, so I think that's a better starting point. I think you get different really quick. I know Bo's looking at the same rostership percentages I am, and that 10K and above is just filthy with rostership. I mean, you're talking in excess of like 25% on some of these guys. So get a little weird and go down into the 9s, double stack your 9s, and still be able to build out a fairly decent lineup. And so we can move into the 8s and the 7s to kind of help build that part, because I think we're both in agreement. Like the best plays really are probably Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, and Max Homa.
Yep, completely agree. Let's see, high 8s. You got Sam Burns here, 8,900. Good scoring. We can skip V now. We don't like him either side. Tommy Fleetwood doesn't score DFS points, which I know you filtered into your model. But Sungjae Im does. Sungjae Im. Looking pretty good here. What do you think? I don't like any of the guys in the 8s, honestly. They all look pretty rough here. Sungjae is the only guy I can get to in the 8s, really.
So Nikolai Højgaard, I would go back to. I definitely would. I would have some interest in him. He's playing very well. He's got a good wedge game, very good putter on Poana. And the other things that he doesn't always do necessarily great, like fairways gained is a stat that I put in there as a control stat. And these are some of the widest fairways on tour, especially at Pebble. So I think that when you mitigate that with Højgaard, who's been playing well, mix in his wedge game, mix in the overall strokes gain data that we have for this course, like 8,100 on him is a really good price, I think. So that's probably where I'm at. With Sungjae, I think Sungjae's got that higher ball flight that you talk about. It's not as over the top as some of the guys that we've mentioned, but it's still definitely not like a low ball flight. And historically, we've tried to play Sungjae in tougher spots, and it hasn't gone tremendously well for us.
That's correct.
So if I had to pick anybody else in the eights, I probably honestly would be looking at Tom Kim and taking a couple shots at him. Not that the ball flight situation is any better. I just think that the consistency from Tom Kim, when he's in tougher fields, when he's in tougher conditions, tends to be a little bit better.
Okay, that's fair. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up.
I saw that question pop up, and for beginner golf bets, I would say like the approach that Bo alluded to earlier, like more of a buckshot approach, looking at maybe a group of 10 golfers that you like with low investment with higher odds, just to get you interested. Because like some of the shorter odds guys that we talk about in golf betting, you have to put so much money into them, and you still got to remember
it's not worth it. Yeah.
You're a 1 in 80 chance of picking the right guy. So if you're trying to have fun, I'd pick a pool of 5 to 10 guys and put a whatever within your means on those guys.
Yeah.
But
and it's like, I can't stress this enough. Golf betting is so different from football and baseball and basketball betting because the odds are so long. Like even your favorites at 7, 8 to 1, it's wild to compare. Like your favorites in a competitive head-to-head game are your -120, your +110. You're dealing with a coin flip with a little bit of juice for the house. Like these, you get it right, you're getting a better payout, but it's the odds are crazy against you. So it's better to almost do that buckshot approach as a beginner, because even a buck, like throw a damn dollar, like even if you're filthy rich, throwing $1 on a 100 to 1 guy and watching this guy play the weekend, it's riveting. You cannot take your eye, like you want to enjoy watching golf on TV. If you think watching golf on TV is quote unquote boring, throw $1 on a random guy in this field and you will be on the edge of your couch the entire weekend. That's how it works. Golf betting is so riveting because it puts so much more interest into the whole sport of it, because these guys are going to be up and down all around, all over these courses in gnarly conditions. You're going to be laughing and crying and screaming in pain. You're going to be cheering like louder than you've ever cheered before on a guy that you probably didn't hear about before we mentioned his name on the show. That's what golf betting means, is that even a damn dollar can make the difference in enjoying this tournament. And for Pebble Beach Week, we don't even need that.
Well, and shit, dude, a $10 investment, so $1 on 10 golfers in that 20 to 50 to 1 range, which we've kind of identified as a good range. Mm-hmm. If you end up hitting a 20 to 1 outright with even $1, you've doubled your initial investment. So, I mean, it's a way to build a bankroll. It's a way to be engaged and a way to have fun.
Sure.
And the other thing I'd recommend is, we're a small show. Anybody who's getting into golf betting, like definitely like watch other shows too, because there's a lot of really talented people that put out shows.
They're not as charming or good looking or smart as us, but they still have great production value to them. So take it for what it is. Like we're not a big show yet, but we're devilishly handsome. We are as accurate as it gets. Like we know golf better than everybody else. It's just a fact. It's like we just need you guys to spread the word for us by liking and subscribing. That's just really, it's what the YouTube algorithm needs, is to be fed, right? It's like hungry hippos.
Okay, enough plugging. In the sevens. So in the sevens, without a doubt, my favorite plays are going to be Russell Henley and Bo Hostler.
Henley, Hostler, and
Hadwin.
Yep. Chris Kirk for me, and a little bit of Eric Cole, but not as much.
Yeah, be careful there.
Okay, Mr. Stat Model, our walking the Dak Prescott of golf betting, Alexander Noren.
Here we go.
Yeah, right. It's like, do we play Alexander Noren in DFS? Maybe. Yeah, he's okay. But right there is Nick Taylor. Nick Taylor, short course specialist, bad weather specialist. I think he outscores Alexander Noren. So don't be afraid to put Nick Taylor in your lineups instead of Alex Noren, despite what the stats might tell you.
I'll take the Alex Noren versus Nick Taylor. I'll take that bet.
Okay.
I'll take Noren.
What about our resident first time PGA Tour winner, Mathieu Pavon de France?
Out this week.
Yeah. Hangover.
Not only that, this week is way too much dependent on force layups and second shots.
Yeah.
So last week he could get away with a little bit more. I don't think he's going to do it this week.
All right, so the Todd Fathers here at 7K flat, he's averaging 95 DK points a week. Is this a mispriced? Is he in your pool?
He is in my pool. And it is definitely a misprice because he rated out 4th in my modeling.
Yeah. See. Both of our enemies of the show. Actually, Bez is less of an enemy of the show and more of like a
EVR, aren't you?
Well, yeah, EVR is definitely an enemy of the show. He does not rate out well here. Sorry, don't do the EVR thing this week. It's not worth it.
Is there water here?
Water's gonna be coming sideways. Let's see. Is there water at Pebble Beach? Yeah, it's the Pacific Ocean.
No EVR for me.
The Willow Branch will find the Pacific Ocean this week. You can lock that in. And Bez sets up much better here, but he does not score DK points. So you probably should steer clear of that one in your lineups because he has virtually no upside. He averages 17 fewer points in DK a week than EVR does. That should tell you how far away from Bez that you should play this week, even though he stats out well here. One guy that could make some noise here as we get down below 7K, it gets a little scary down here. Kurt Kitayama, way mispriced, 6,600. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
this is still a top 35 golfer in the world, ladies and gentlemen, in his backyard, virtually speaking. And the grinder of all grinders, defending Arnold Palmer Invitational champion, defending 4th place finisher at the PGA Championship, Kitayama. This is disrespectful. He's averaging 86 points a week in DFS. What is there? What am I missing here? Did he lose a limb or something?
I don't think you're missing anything. I just think that he isn't being bet up and he's not being rostered because most shows don't talk about him. This is probably the one week out of the year where I would be more excited than other weeks. Like we like to roll them out here and there, but I think
shout out NorCal, do it.
Shout out NorCal. I think he sets up here, and on top of that, as the conditions get worse,
he's so good. He's so good in the wind.
A lot more a Kitayama course. The other thing that we really like about Kitayama is he has every ball flight in the book. He's able to hit stingers. He's able to hit any of the like mid flighted roll shots in wetter conditions. Like he's just got a lot of tricky shots in the bag. And this isn't going to be the first time he's seen this area, seen these conditions. So,
and leaving the driver in the bag for most of these forced layup holes, hitting little 2-iron stingers off every tee box. That's right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I'm seconding your emotion here. I will go.
Yes.
I will go Kitayama.
And the last guy I was going to throw in here, way down at the bottom, Seamus Power and Webb Simpson too, but they're just going to be like little 2% here. Webb Simpson.
Brandon Wu, baby. Brandon Wu.
Woo! Shout out NorCal. Brandon Wu is, of course, from Northern California, and he is only 6,300.
And you know what Brandon Wu does even better than Kurt Kitayama?
Play in the wind.
Grinds out shitty windy conditions.
Yep. You know why? Because these guys, not only did they grow up in Northern California, but they have Vegas ties, and there's not a windier place in the world than fucking Vegas. Vegas is just wind every day. You're just like getting sand in your eyes. And in NorCal, where we are from, inland, like I think Wu is from the Bay Area, so he's used to the coastal conditions better. it's windy on the coast all the damn time. Like we went to Ocean Beach a couple of years ago, and we were getting sand in our eyes from the beach. Like it was miserable. You couldn't even. We had a lollipop for our daughter, and she was covered in sand within seconds of getting out of the car. And of course, inland
You ate that lollipop anyway, didn't you?
yeah, inland it's just brutally hot and dry with the wind, so it's like a blow dryer to the face in the summertime when you're playing golf, and you come out sunburned and miserable and chapped. But that's the Vegas thing. That's like we're just used to playing in wind. It's like we learn a stinger. That's like the first thing we get taught on the range is the first windy day when you're taking lessons. They're like, all right, we're gonna teach you how to hit a stinger. It's a real thing. It is a real thing for Northern California natives. Dee from the Lake House finally checking in with us. We love you, Dee. Thank you for joining us again this week. Mav McNeely, 6,200. It's a sucker bet. Suckers.
Before I talk about that, I did actually, now that you're done talking about the Bay Area, Brandon Wu, like legitimately over the last 24 rounds, it's 11th on approach in this field, believe it or not.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
18th in opportunity gain, so he's knocking the ball close. And on top of that, he continues to have one of the highest greens in regulation hit on tour wide. So not only is he hitting greens, he's hitting it close, and his approach game from almost every bucket we looked at is really good. So 6,300, no cut event in his backyard. I'm in.
Yes. Glorious. So yeah, while everybody else is looking at fellow Pebble Beach like area native Mav McNeely at the bottom of the price scale, you should instead play Brandon Wu.
That's the pivot play.
It's a perfect pivot play. I agree with you completely, Connor.
It does break my heart that I can't play Mav this week. It does, but he's just not doing anything.
He's a great putter on Poana, but getting to the greens is a challenge.
All right. Bo, what is the misprice of the week? Because I can tell you I know what it is.
Probably it's either Kitayama or shoot, man, I don't even know. I'd say Kitayama's the least, like he's the lower than his price should be, but probably him or Adam Hadwin, I would say.
Sam Ryder, 6K, dead man.
Flat. Yeah.
The misprice of the week.
Yeah, you're right. 80 points average on DK and an 80-man field, no cut. Everybody's going to be in play. Thanks, Rosie.
Yeah, so it's pretty rare that we get one of these, but some great things about Sam Ryder: 6K flat, blatant misprice, somebody who is typically shorter off the tee, so these forced layups aren't going to be an issue for him. He does hit greens in regulation around a 68% clip, so he's not bad on approach. He plays better in windier conditions. He plays better on some of the tougher weather conditions that you're going to run into. He's coming off a missed cut, which I think plays into some of the pricing. But prior to that missed cut, he hadn't missed one going all the way back to the Genesis Scottish Open. And really, he's just been right in the hunt every single week. DK points scored, like Bo alluded to, super good. So 6 flat for a guy who's guaranteed 4 rounds. Absolutely dial up some Sam Ryder this week.
Yep, I completely agree. He's got to be in the pool. I just built a lineup with 3 guys under 7. And with all the guys I wanted to put in there, I still had 2,500 left, and I didn't hate the lineup. That's how crazy this field is. So this DFS, if you're playing in larger tournaments, do not be afraid to get weird this week. The prices simply don't matter. The misprices are rampant throughout the DraftKings lobbies. Play some big tournaments, take some shots, leave some money on the table, because I don't think it honestly matters. If you fill any lineup under the salary cap, it's going to pay off if you have the right guys. It's simply put, none of these prices matter as long as you're under the cap.
Well said, sir. Who is the outright winner?
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, Justin Thomas.
Yeah. Justin Thomas season, baby.
Let's go. I hope so. I don't know that he's got enough juice to win. Give me Xander. I just think Xander's too good. Too damn good. And at a 12 underscore. That's my bet.
I'll take JT at 15. If I got to pick somebody other than JT, since we agree on JT this week, I'll go Max Homa.
Oh boy. You see, my other co-host picked Max Homa as well in the one and done, which I'm stomping him. And I picked of course, the expert at Pebble Beach, Jordan Spieth, because I couldn't picture myself playing Jordan Spieth in a one and done in any other place.
I did.
That was the thing.
I did the flag hunting pod right before this,
Uh-huh.
and the consensus on there was pretty unanimous. Max Homa, Justin Thomas too. So I don't know.
Let's go. I love Max Homa. The dude's an amazing person. I root for him every week. We already talked about it. It's just, for me, I just don't know that he can compete this week. At least at his odds. I don't mind him in DFS at all.
It's Justin Thomas. Let's not kid ourselves.
Let's go. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, JT. JT, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm
Game time hoop. What time is it? Game time hoop. All right. From Conor Coughlin, I am Bo McBrayer. This has been the 19th hole live. Join us next week for the Garbage Truck Open, Waste Management, Phoenix Open, Super Bowl week. It's going to be a rowdy.
Oh, it's always a good show.
Yeah.